Attack on Titan just came to an end, and a lot of people is talking. From the manga, a lot of people thought the ending was terrible. The anime just ended, and the reception is a little bit better, more of a mixed bag. A lot of people think it was really great. A lot of people think it was eh. A lot of people still hate it. So where do you stand? How do you feel about Attack on Titan, especially when it comes to the ending? And how do you rank Attack on Titan all time in anime? Right now, I think Attack on Titan, I would say, is the third best anime I've watched. One Piece 1, Naruto 2nd, Attack on Titan 3rd. I have Full Metal 4th. I'm battling between the two because I think the ending of Full Metal is way better than the ending of Attack on Titan. And endings, that's how a show ends, just stays with you more. So I'm battling between 3 and 4, but right now I have Attack on Titan 3 because I feel the story had higher highs, not too much lows. Full Metal was more of like a steady flow, a few highs, but no real peaks. Maybe Captain Mustang avenging Hugh's death, that might have been like the all-time high for me. Raph raiding the castle, boy pulled up like, why would I go to the back door of my own house? Come to the front door. Maybe. Some Agreed fights, Agreed had some really good fights, maybe. But overall, the plot twists and highs of Attack on Titan, I feel for that reason I have Attack on Titan over Full Metal for right now. But back to the main course, let's talk about the ending. How do we feel about the ending? For me, I don't think Attack on Titan necessarily had a bad ending. I think it was a pretty good, okay ending. The problem is, Attack on Titan is one of the greatest stories we've ever seen. The standard that we set for Attack on Titan is just different. Give this ending to the average anime that comes out, and we're probably having a different conversation. We probably think this is a great show, great ending, but this isn't just any other show. This is Attack on Titan. We had 3 seasons of peak. Attack on Titan first season might be one of the best seasons in anime. Season 1 of Attack on Titan can stand against any season arc in anime. It may not be the best, but you pick Attack on Titan Season 1, you can put it up against any arc, and I feel like you got a good fight. That was amazing. Season 2 was kind of short, a little bit of a drop-off, but story-wise, information-wise, it had it all. Season 3 came back, did his thing. We was good. We got Season 4, it came out banging, switching perspectives, showing us the size of the Marlians now, and then we viewing Eren as the enemy, following more of Gabby and the Marlians and following Eren himself, and we're opposing Eren. So that was a great twist. I actually love that. I still don't think Eren is necessarily a villain, but the way the show did it, it did switch perspectives and made him the antagonist of the show, while the protagonist seemed to be the Marlians and more Gabby, because that's who we followed for Season 4. But the ending itself, there's definitely more that I didn't like than I liked about the ending. Levi's shining moment of killing Zeke. We saw Commander Erwing's last command to Levi was to get rid of Zeke. And we see throughout final episode, Levi mentioned, am I not gonna get to fulfill Erwing's last request? And this is supposed to be his shining moment of the final season. And Zeke just comes up, leans on a pole, and Levi just takes his head. It felt cheap to me. It didn't give me what I needed to give. I don't know if it was just my expectations for Attack on Titan, but how I felt about it was not how I thought I would feel. I expected it to bring out way more emotion and stakes for me, but it actually didn't do that. We also have Eren moments of talking to Armin, Mikasa, and the rest of the gang. We kind of see him talk to Armin, and that's the best part. When it comes to explaining why he did what he did, how he really feels, we got that through his conversation with Armin. We didn't get to see much of a conversation with him and Mikasa, which at the end we know what that relationship was. Her fighting, her mental, for Eren being able to kill him at the end. I thought we should have got a little bit more between them as far as a conversation or a dialect, maybe an apology. Just more than what we actually got. It was weird. It was like, all right, I guess, kind of thing, how it felt. And then just not showing he came back to the rest and spoke to them, but we didn't see it. So also that was like, all right, damn, okay. And you have founding Titan questions. Actually, I think this is the biggest thing. Of the show is done, and I still have questions that I feel like I don't know. The founding Titan, the squiggly thing. What was that really? We know that a smaller version of it, at least, and what gave Ymir the founding Titan powers. But they didn't explain that much at all. We can infer, we can look at the show and pull information and see that brought Eren back to life when Gabby shot his head off. But they mentioned the will, and Ymir's will, and Eren's will, and the timeline, and Eren maybe not being able to had full control, because he said he had no choice in the decisions he could have made. He couldn't do anything to change the timeline. You would think he would let Berthold get eaten instead of his mom, but he sends the Titan to his mom, so what happened had to happen. But we know he didn't necessarily want to do what he did. So if he had the power to, wouldn't he change the timeline or change what he did? It seems like he couldn't have, which just weird to me, because one of the big themes and one of the big things for Eren was freedom. So now him not being able to actually change the timeline, or seemingly so, makes me feel like he never really had any freedom, which hurts the character for me. And I don't really get the overall message of that. Eren just a victim of circumstance and stuck in a loop that he couldn't really do anything about, even though it seems like this was his decision and he wanted to wipe out humanity. But was it really 100% him? I don't know. This isn't fully explained or explored. We see in the ending clip, at the end, the flashes of the tree. After some years, the tree transforms and looks like the entrance that Ymir went in, and the little boy with the dog is going in, seemingly symbolizing the restarting of the cycle, which supports the idea of Eren was just stuck in a cycle that he really couldn't change. And now we're gonna just do it all over again, which makes me feel like what I just watched was just another page in a history book that didn't change anything in the grand scheme, which also pisses me off. Because fine, I get it, the message, humans are dumb, we love war, we're gonna always revert back to war no matter what. Peace times, war times, we're just gonna keep going and going and going. But when you show us that after this amazing show and us following Eren and the scouts and the Marleyans, and we get here, you think we would want to have a happy ending of show us, okay, what Eren's sacrifice. We know that's a big debate in the anime community. Was Eren right? Was Eren wrong? If at the end we leave the show at the Eldians on the island of Paradis is left in peace, and that's all we know, we have information to make a decision like, hey, for the rest of their lives, Eren's friends lived in peace. And I guess you can justify Eren's action because of that. But what happened was they showed us the island going back to war. From the manga, the timelines seem a lot closer. In the anime, they seem like they just made it seem like years, like hundreds of years had passed before we got back here. But still, it's the feeling of, all right, so what did Eren really do? Is that just me? Am I the only one that felt like that? But Titan overall was a pretty dark and grim show. So it also having a kind of a grim, realistic, no happy ending kind of feel also kind of suits. So this isn't the biggest gripe for me, but it just also feels a little off. Especially if you're someone that wants to defend Eren. Of like, they still went back to war, so he destroyed 80% of humanity for what? It makes it worse for the people that want to defend Eren. But going back to stuff that I did like, before the wars and all of that came back, they did kind of show We saw Mikasa coming back to visit Eren with a baby and stuff like that, which showed us that what Eren wanted to do, he kind of did fulfill his goal for a period of time. His friends did get to live a life of peace. So in a short time span, or at least in their lifetime, it feels good to know that they didn't have to fight anymore. Like overall, the island and the world going back to war are just like, damn bro, Eren. But for what he was trying to do and more focus on the story, they did kind of have their happy ending. We didn't really get to see it. Kinda, it was like in the flash at the end. Watching it, I was like, I feel a little, it made me feel a little good. It made me feel like what Eren did wasn't absolutely for nothing. And overall, even though it just feels like another page in history, in the flow of time, just another course of events that happened. Oh, that's the overall feeling. But there is some joy in there knowing of, hey, at least after he was gone, his people got to live out in peace. And as I think about it, other than that, there's nothing else that I really point to that I could say I liked or I enjoyed. It's just overall the feeling, I don't think it's as bad as people made it out to be. I think overall for Attack on Titan, they tried to divert slightly from the manga, change a little bit to the anime, mostly the same thing. But overall, the feeling that I got coming out of it was like, this was okay. The biggest thing is just, it's Attack on Titan. It shouldn't just be okay. We expected grandiose, we expected amazing, we expected season 1 levels of Attack on Titan, the ending to match that. And that's the main thing I think is the biggest problem. But overall, even though there's a lot I don't like about it, and I can't necessarily point to anything, but I still didn't feel like it was bad. It just felt good to me. I left underwhelmed, but I wasn't disappointed like most people. But that's just me. How did you feel? What did you think of the ending of Attack on Titan? Did you enjoy anything specifically? What's your favorite part? What did you like the most about the ending of Attack on Titan? Is there like a highlight for you in Attack on Titan ending? How do you feel about Levi and Zeke? How do you feel about Zeke's conversation with Armin and him helping them at the end? Let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys.
Yeah. I know that you gon' say 'cause you need something real.